how to deal in a big downward loss of income. Whether it's retrenchment, whether it's change in economic circumstances, maybe whether due to health, whatever reasons, there are many, many, many situations which could result in the inflow, the income that maybe you've got used to in your life, suddenly either being reduced significantly or stopping. Not having a plan or knowing how to deal with this can have a devastating impact on you emotionally, your anxiety, but also on your financial well-being. So what are the things that you should put in place to ensure that you have resilience and a buffer in place in the event that you have a big loss of inflow? So really important you have an emergency fund in place. Super important you have a cash net around about $1,000, 800 pounds, maybe about 15,000 rand, whatever your currency is. Put away just in cash, super accessible, that in case some emergency comes along. And that just is take off that first edge. But if there's really been the taps have been turned off or significantly turned down and less income is coming in, you need to set in place a 3 to 9 months basic survival living needs cash safety net. So what am I talking about? What are your survival needs? Survival needs is not what your current lifestyle costs you. You want to get really clear on what are your survival costs. You want to look at your expenses and go, what are the costs that I must keep paying in order to survive and in order to access other forms of employment or create a new income source getting in place. So that would be shelter over your head, that would be food, but not extravagant, just what is going to keep you active to survive. For you, it might be internet access or access to it so that you could get some jobs freelancing, or maybe that's your business, access to those opportunities. It might be transport for you. Do you really need that car, or could you use public transport? What would be your basic survival scenario? Work out what is the minimum you need and then put a price tag to that. And then you want to have in place in basically a savings account between 3 to 9 months of that survival budget. Why 3 to 9 months? Some of you are going to feel that more resilient and go, I feel confident that in the event of some scenario, either myself or those around me, if you're in a relationship or married and you've got maybe kids that can support you out, you'll say, I need a smaller amount sitting in that cash safety net. Maybe you might feel you need a bigger amount in that cash safety net. Maybe you live on your own and there's no other economic or financial support in your life. Maybe that would just make you feel more confident. So you get to choose somewhere between 3 and 9 months. You don't want more than that because then the money is just sitting around wasting, but you don't want less than 3 months because then you're just being a cowboy with your own wealthy life. And you don't want that either. You want to make sure you've got this net. And the whole point of it is to catch you and give you some financial stability while you can reorganize a different source of income or flow into your life. The third thing is to consider income protection insurance. This is also a way to give you a cash safety net. So if you're an income earner, you can get insurance in place that will kick in if you're not able to earn after a period of time. Now here's a little hack. The longer you're prepared to self-insure, so in other words, the longer the period of time it takes to kick in place for that insurance to start paying out an income to you, the lower your premiums will be. So you might set up a situation where maybe you put 2 months of your own survival cash safety net in place, and then you put income protection in beyond 2 months. And this is really going to keep those insurance premiums low, but still give you the comfort and assurance knowing that if something were to happen to the inflow, you'll be covered. Now remember, you can only do income protection insurance on yourself, and so as a family you need to make sure you also have a strategy that wherever the income source comes in, you have a plan for the family unit as a whole. Now the fourth thing you need to do is slash back on expenses. As soon as you have an inkling that income might be reducing, go radical. Claim yourself first. Go through your expenses. Go back to the last 12 months. Look at any subscriptions you have, automated renewal, once-off payments. Go and see where you're spending your money and slash back. Lighten your load. I see so many people who try and maintain a certain lifestyle, of which a huge amount of their outflow is completely unconscious and adding no value anyway, but just get into paralysis and go, well, I've got to try and sustain this when their income is substantially dropped. Because remember, most people just have this break-even money flow. So you want to spend some time and have joy really going, what can you get rid of to lighten that load? And this is not about deprivation. This is about choosing you and making sure you don't get into difficult financial positions. The next thing you must do is, if you've got any kind of debt, mortgage, overdrafts, credit cards, any kind of debt, not just consumer debt, let your lenders know that your financial situation has changed. Tell them that you might be in a difficult position but keeping up with repayments. Ask them up front and soon to renegotiate the interest rates, to maybe pause the repayment. If you don't speak to them and just start defaulting on those debt repayments, it's going to hugely impact not only your credit score, but also the choices you have downstream. The sooner you speak up, the better. And finally, let your friends and your family and your peer group know. I've heard so many horror stories, people writing to me where they felt ashamed. They felt that they had to be the martyr or the strong one. They didn't tell their kids what was going on. I had a situation recently where with a woman who literally was 2 weeks away from she and her family being evicted from the home that they'd lived in and rented for over 12 years because she was 7 months in arrears on the rent, but she hadn't told anyone. She hadn't told her kids, who are now all young adults who could have supported her, but she felt so much shame around this that she got herself deeper and deeper into a real financial challenge and hole. So let go of any shame or story that your income defines your worthiness, and claim back your power in this area. And that is how you're going to be able to manage and ride through and thrive in a situation where your income might reduce. So I'm Ann Wilson, and if you're watching this anywhere than over at thewealthchef.com, head on over there, and in the comments below, I'd love you to share one of your resilience strategies. What do you have in place to make sure that if or when the income reduces into your life, you are protected and can bounce back from that situation and not get into a deep financial difficult hole. Remember, your wealth is created by little baby steps consistently taken, by you giving money great leadership and letting it support and serve you so you can get on and live your rich, juicy, amazing life that you'd be here to live.